It sounds really cliche to say it, but gaming can take us to whole new worlds. But what about loads of massive ones? Because that's what Xbox can do. Here are some of the biggest that you can explore and try and figure it out, but they've all got something in common as well. I'll clue you in by the end of the video though, don't worry. This video is brought to you by Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Yeah, it's a little bit of a cheat to start off with because Bethesda's latest blockbuster RPG doesn't just give players one vast world to explore, it gives them entire star systems full of them. Starfield actually features over 1,000 planets for players to explore, with a mixture of handcrafted and procedurally generated content. These can range from sprawling vistas filled with bizarre alien creatures to thriving metropolises and the sort of barren, dusty old rocks that you don't actually feel too bad about mining the absolute life out of. It's just been getting better and better since launch, and thanks to a recent update, finding your way around the more populated areas is actually even easier now, with new city maps making it much simpler to find vendors or other points of interest. And Starfield sits snugly in the Game Pass library, so space travel's never been so effortless. Also, the game's only going to get filled with more content as we eagerly await Shattered Space, the first expansion for Starfield. Cannot wait. It's certainly a major selling point now for this franchise, but the Assassin's Creed series has taken us across time and all over the globe, conjuring up some incredible open worlds along the way. But when it comes to sheer awesome scale, well, Odyssey's ancient Greek map might just be the winner. It's just simply huge in every which way. I mean, bustling towns where you can just hide amongst the crowds, and a vast sea where you can stage epic nautical battles. Everywhere you're looking on this map, you're encountering new characters, side quests, story strands that make this not only one of Assassin's Creed's biggest open worlds, clocking in at some 265 square kilometers if you're counting, and that's including the wet bits by the way, but it's also, I'd say, one of the series' richest. We're getting a bit of a theme here, but we're going to go back and check in with Bethesda, and not for the last time, by the way, to talk about the Elder Scrolls. Technically, the biggest Elder Scrolls game ever was Daggerfall. Yeah, I know, shocking. It had about 62,000 square miles of procedurally generated ground for players to cover, but the subsequent games have actually managed to cram so much story, character, magic, mystery into their maps that it might actually feel bigger. So for example, Oblivion clocks in at 15 square miles, but it feels like you can't walk for 5 minutes without bumping into some paranoid wood elf or a haunted house, or the chance to unleash a fiery sheep-based plague onto an unsuspecting village. And you know what the wild thing is? Even if you comb every inch of Oblivion, you'll still have Skyrim, Morrowind, and the ever-expanding world of the Elder Scrolls Online waiting for you in the Game Pass library. I mean, they don't get much more accurate than this, but the thing that makes Microsoft Flight Simulator's world so impressive is that it is actually the world. Yeah. By drawing on over 2 petabytes of data, or petabytes? I don't know, you guys argue in the comments. Along with some other high-tech wizardry like photogrammetry, 3D scanning, and some cheeky AI-driven procedural generation, Microsoft Flight Simulator basically provides a digital copy of our entire globe that ranges from photorealistic to, yeah, pretty much photorealism. And that's all well and good, but just flying around this technical marvel of a game just never gets old, especially as the world updates have continually added even more detail and points of interest to famous places around the world. It's also impressive that I'm not entirely sure how they're going to top it for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, but, well, if you're keen to find out, make sure you ring the bell and subscribe. You definitely don't want to miss that flight. I bet I'm going to get actually a lot in the comments about this particular section, but you know what? I'm fine with it. Minecraft is one of those games that inspires great conversation. But when we're talking about the size of it, well, its beautiful blocky world is around 1.5 billion square miles. Yeah, try and imagine that for a sec. It's an impressive number right off the bat. It just sounds really big, but it becomes kind of jaw-dropping when you consider that the actual size of the actual world that we live on is only 197 million. And we're talking billions here now. And with all that space available, players have found themselves free to really let their creativity run riot, building everything from a scale model of the Titanic to an actual Minecraft version of Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. Beautiful. And hey, even if your ambitions are slightly humbler than that, well, you're just going to find Minecraft's world is a place of endless possibilities. Let's swing back over to Ubisoft for a sec, because their open-world, autocrat-smashing shooter series Far Cry has given players a bigger battlefield to fight on with each successive game, peaking so far with Yara's 12 sun-dappled square miles. But that number doesn't really fully reflect how big Far Cry 6 is when you play it, because it also brought serious verticality to the franchise. So whether you're ziplining out into the trees or, I don't know, clambering up buildings to parachute down onto your foes, the 6th game really opens up so many new ways for players to rise up and overthrow their oppressors. Plus, it might have TV and film's greatest villain of all time, Giancarlo Esposito. Let me know in the comments what your favourite thing he's been in this, apart from Far Cry, obviously. Anyway, it's got vibrant colours, classic cars, and lovely weather. I mean, Far Cry 6 is just the prettiest place the series has ever taken us, and especially when you're playing it in 4K with HDR10 on the Xbox Series X. Oh, we couldn't resist doing this one. I mean, everybody's been getting into the Fallout games recently after being drawn in by the TV series and Walton Goggins' irresistible noseless charms. But the biggest question is, which game to start with? In terms of sheer scope, you just can't beat the 24,000 square miles offered by the online game Fallout 76. It's got new content being added all the time, by the way, and really it is one of the liveliest nuclear wastelands that you could ever hope to visit. But if it's the classic solo experience you're after, well, Fallout 4's near 10,000 square mile map will give you plenty of space to roam around, battling mutants, building settlements, lots and lots and lots of settlements, and making soul-destroying ethical choices. It's kind of the hallmark of the series, really, so no complaining here. And honestly, you just can't really go wrong with any of the Fallout games, which is why I was so happy to have so much of it on Game Pass. Yeah, I had to end on this one because I knew someone would say, you forgot about it, it's literally the biggest game. Well, don't worry, because we are playing this as a pure numbers game, so obviously No Man's Sky is just going to have to win it, because, I mean, the open world is effectively infinite. It uses procedural generation to whip up 18 quintillion planets for players to visit, and so basically means it's literally impossible for one person to see everything that No Man's Sky has to offer. Even if you try to swing by each one for a single solitary second, that's still going to take you nearly 600 billion years, and unless you've got a time machine, mate, I just don't think it's happening, especially without bathroom breaks. The game has always had this incredible scale on its side, but these days, No Man's Sky is almost a completely different experience compared to launch, because it's got an absurd amount of depth going for it as well. I mean, it's a much more social game now, and the ability to tame animals, build bases, assemble star fleets, dive underwater, and much, much more just means that No Man's Sky is a wonderful place to be, whether you're into sci-fi or just hanging around the universe. And here's that one thing that connects all of these games. They are all available right now on Xbox Game Pass. I know you probably figured it out. I do have a question for you guys in just a sec, but first, how about a word from this video's sponsor? This video was brought to you by Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. I just can't wait to return to George Miller's iconic wasteland and witness the story of Anya Taylor-Joy's Furiosa and her epic battle against Chris Hemsworth's Dementus. Can't wait to see it on the biggest screen possible when it comes out in just a few days on the 24th of May.
I am the great Dementus. I rule the wasteland.
He took everything from me. My mother, my childhood.
I want them back.
Good for you. I've got a fiendishly high pain threshold.
Magnificent.
I'm Furiosa.
A Mad Max saga, rated R, May 24th.
Right, my question for you lot. Have I missed any games out? What's the best secret that you found hiding in a game map? Let me know both of those down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!